All right, hospitals in the British capital are being overwhelmed by patients of the coronavirus COVID-19. This is according to the head of the organization representing the bosses in the state-run National Health Service. Eribel Celestino will give us an update on that case. Eribel, how are you?
Hi, Alma.
Hi.
I'm good, thank you. What about you?
I'm good. How are you? All right, Eribel,
Okay.
tell us what's happening over there in London.
Here in the United Kingdom, we are now in our third day since lockdown was announced by the government. According to the latest figures, 463 people have died from the virus, and more than 9,500 people have been infected. London makes up a third of the UK total. Hospitals in the British capital are being overwhelmed by COVID-19 patients. Chris Thompson, the head of the organization representing bosses in the state-run National Health Service, said this morning. According to Thompson, London hospitals has seen an explosion of demand in seriously ill patients, comparing it to a continuous tsunami, with numbers predicted to surge in the next fortnight. Thompson said this problem of dealing with the increased number of patients was worsened by the unprecedented absence rate of medical staff because of infection with the virus or are in vulnerable groups or have to self-isolate. They are now seeing 30, 40, and even some places 50% sickness rates, and the chief executive said there was also a real problem with the ventilator capacity in hospitals. Thompson's comments came as the government announced it has ordered 10,000 emergency ventilators to help tackle the pandemic from billionaire entrepreneur James Dyson. The government is opening a temporary 4,000-bed hospital at an exhibition center in London next week to treat patients with the virus. British media also reported 10 similar facilities could be set up around the country. On the other hand, there are also some positive things that are coming out. The number of people who have volunteered to help the NHS in its fight against coronavirus has passed 500,000, double the government's recruitment target of 250,000 helpers since it went live on Tuesday. The helpers are needed for delivering food and medicines, driving patients to appointments, and phoning the isolated. About 11,000 former medics have also agreed to go back to the health service, and more than 24,000 final year student nurses and medics will join them. The scheme is one of a number aimed at relieving pressure on the NHS. The help is being targeted at the 1.5 million people with underlying health conditions who have been asked to protect themselves from the virus by staying home for 12 weeks. There are now calls to copy the volunteering scheme in Wales, as it is currently only for those in England. Meanwhile, Parliament has shut down until the 21st of April at the earliest, after sweeping emergency powers to tackle the coronavirus crisis were passed. Health Secretary Matt Hancock told MPs the emergency legislation will allow extraordinary measures never seen in peacetime in the UK. Meanwhile, hospital car parking charges are to be waived for all NHS and social care staff in England, while they deal with the coronavirus outbreak, Health Secretary Matt Hancock announced last night. The government has now given funding to all NHS trusts in England to allow charges at their hospitals and sites to be dropped, typically between £50 and £250 a month. We will now endeavor to keep you up to date with any changes to our condition here in the United Kingdom, so stay tuned. Alma?
All right. Eribel, you're a student.
Yeah, I am.
Yes, you are. Okay, so no school? No school for now?
No school for now, and we still don't know when we're coming back.
Oh, okay. So how are you keeping up with your education? What's the government doing so that education continues or studies continue?
Well, our only way to attend class for now is through the means of modern technology. And however, it does not feel the same as having regular lessons in class because there's lack of face-to-face interactions either with teachers and our peers.
So classes continue through online learning.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what tips will you give your fellow students to keep yourselves entertained, so that you won't be bored? What tips can you give your fellow students around the world?
Well, first of all, is to keep your mind busy while doing your regular work that you used to do in school. So you don't fall out of that structure that you used to follow every day. For example, reading or writing or simply by doing your homework. So you don't fall out of that structure.
Okay. So what lesson or what can you take away from all this, do you think? What positive thing can you take away, or what lesson can you take away from all this that is happening in the world?
One thing that I can take from this experience is to never take for granted what our daily lives offer to us. And while adapting to this situation, to appreciate the fact that we can still conduct our lives, and for most of us, being with our family and loved ones.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time, Aribel.
Thank you, Alma. Reporting from United Kingdom, I'm Aribel Celestino. We live in interesting times.
Okay.